Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy and an opportunity for Vivek. I'm in an incredibly strange position now. It looks like I'm going to be voting. Well, no question. I will vote for Donald Trump I would vote for anyone who chooses Vivek Ramaswamy. I guess that's not correct. I will vote for Vivek. I will vote for Donald Trump if he chooses Vivek Ramaswamy as his vice presidential candidate, because I think if he selects him as vice president, it's a guaranteed presidency for Vivek Ramaswamy. We'll get the president we deserve rather than this president from a second, from a special circle of the hot place, which I don't really want. I don't want Donald Trump as a president. I'll be voting for him for president. Now, that doesn't make me unique. Literally every American who votes will be voting for a president they don't want. Absolutely no one wants either of the presidents that the Democrat Party or the Republican Party have positioned. But there is something really unique. So I've been looking at Donald Trump in this new light, right? Because I have to, right? The political calculus says that I need a president who can remember where his keys are, or her keys, and in order to get there, this is the only path forward. This is the only path forward, right? To get Vivek Ramaswamy, a good moral man who can remember where his keys are. Competent leadership, not an elderly man with poor memory, and not me saying that, literally government record saying that, right? Like it's on government record that President Biden is an elderly man with poor memory, because it's so obvious no one can ignore it. And the Democrats are about, how about somebody who can't remember where their keys are for your presidency? Like basic, you wouldn't send this person to the convenience store for milk, but they're going to run the world, right? It's okay. Yeah, and it's not just me. We're all just exasperated, right? And yeah, you know what? I now have to learn the names of the Republican, the DNC lead and the RNC lead, because what they're doing to the American people is it feels like a war crime. It's not a war crime. It feels like a war crime. It is just so abominable and cruel, and it's terrible. I just really wish we weren't here. Okay, Donald Trump. He lies constantly. And so I noticed something recently, right? Because I'm literally trying to consider him as a human being, because it's difficult. All I can see is just like vicious fanged viper monster. He's so horrible, horrible human being, right? But I need to vote for him. And if he's going to be president, I need to pray for him. It's, I want to think of him as a human being, right? So I've been trying to do that, right? And I realized that for the first time ever, I saw a truth he had not spoken. I believe that President Donald Trump has lied so much that it is painful for him to speak truth. I don't think he can do it. I don't think President Donald Trump has the ability to speak true words. I think it's like he's allergic to it. He's like, oh, it's just like I don't think true words can come out of his mouth. But he is a human being, and he still moves, and like he kind of gambles around like a human, right? And in that action, I saw something true. So I'm incredibly blessed, and a friend of mine buys each UFC event, the main event, the big, once a month event. And so I just watched UFC 299, Universal Fighting Championship, and I love it. I've really grown to love it as a sport. It's actually the only sport I can endure, I even watch the full length of. But Donald Trump goes to the UFC, right? Goes to a lot of the events. He's there all the time. It's not even special to see him at a UFC event. He's friends with Dana White, and this is and actually, I think sometimes when he's coming to a UFC event, it's a political maneuver. He's like, hey, red meat for the base. I like watching people get punched just like you, right? But he's there a lot, right? And I would love to say this is always a political maneuver, but it's not. I think he's a genuine UFC fan. He loves UFC the way I love UFC, and that's real. And that action is the truth. And when he goes to UFC, now he did go to UFC 299 with Ivanka. I think that was a political maneuver. But he had been to like UFC 296 and 292 and 288 and five others I didn't mention, right? And he goes and he sits for the whole thing and he just like eats popcorn like the way a normal human being would and watches the fight. And it's real. And I think that action is actually real. There is truth in that action, right? It's the only truth I've ever seen Donald Trump do, right? So how does Vivek help Trump get elected, right? Because that's what he's got to do now, right? And he's also got to make sure that he's in that ride or die seat. He's in that vice president seat, right? And so what he can do is he can help people see exactly what I see. He's close. Vivek Ramaswamy has been brought into the circle. He is stumping for Trump on the campaign trail right now. He has access to him, I think, on a daily basis. It's pretty wild, right? And so what he can do is he can tell people if he sees any other truths that escape through the maze of lies that that Donald Trump habitually tells, and not even be at this point, Donald Trump doesn't try to lie. He can't do anything but lie, right? And so if Vivek Ramaswamy um, can see a truth that has escaped the pile of lies that is Donald Trump, and that's what I did. I saw a truth. I think he genuinely really likes the UFC, just like I do. And in that one thing, we're bonded. Like I didn't think I'd ever have anything in common with Donald Trump, right? I have two arms. I think that's it. Like, like we both have two arms, right? Like, but there's this other thing. He's a genuine fan, right? And it's true and it's real. And so little of what comes out of him in any possible way is true or real. But this is there. And Vivek's right there. Vivek, is there anything else that's real that makes him look more human? That makes his gambling look less like an alien with a human suit zipped up, right? I'd like to know. That's what Vivek can do. Help humanize Donald Trump to the rest of the populace. I think that's Vivek's best movement right now. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing and have a fetch millennium.